as we thought in California right now, but...
This is like, I don't know, I got no words.
Fuck it, let's keep playing.
This is awesome. This goes out to Bobby.
Remember those slackers back in high school who sat in the back of the classroom making hilarious comments all day? They have microphones now and make shock jocks look like altar boys. Irreverent, inappropriate, raw, and accidentally insightful, here's Two Assholes Shitty Podcast.
That was the first time we heard it.
Yeah.
What is that new?
That is new.
That is brand new. That is from our friends.
Live. This is an Two Assholes Shitty Podcast.
We should give him a shout out. That is from our friend Jim Cook, and I am Philth, and that is our friends.
And I'm Paul Mauled, and we're here with our friend
Jeff
from Devil in the Belfry.
Yeah.
Devil in the Belfry.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Happy to be here. This is my first time doing something like this. I'm excited.
We're popping his cherry right now.
We popped a lot of cherries with this.
I've popped a lot of cherries in a lot of places.
Last week's guest, Will, he was never on a podcast
Will
before.
from Thanatonic, Will? Do I know this Will?
Will's like, he sings for like a deathcore band.
He did it. He was doing it on. He did it on the show last week. Yeah, he was fun. Used to be what? Something in Providence. What was the name of the band? A Morning in Providence or something like that. Yeah.
Met this Will.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
He does the screaming, then singing, and then screaming, then singing thing.
Two-tone.
Yeah.
Two-tone.
That's the way that's going nowadays.
Heavy as fuck.
That's a thing now.
And he's
you don't do that.
He's doing some like
can't.
He's in some band that's like apparently like huge, but he's not announced as the singer yet.
Right.
So then once he gets announced and christened the singer, I'll have him back on here.
Sweet.
Like a black Christ in the darkest pits of hell covered in blood, he will come and rise to the metal core.
Yes.
Hoorah!
Let's see if they can hear us out there in cyber.
I fucking hope so, because I'm laying down some fucking shit here, dude.
Can. I'm just looking at the monitors, man. I'm looking at the monitors. Because last week I also screwed up. I have to apologize. Played the music for a little too long.
What else is new?
I just turned it down in the studio, but I didn't turn it down on the channel. I got angry texts.
Such a
Turn the
cockknocker.
fucking music off. I can't hear the conversation. And I get it, because it's my own song. Like, who the fuck,
Yeah.
Have another tall boy, you lush.
You're trying to talk over yourself without knowing you're talking over yourself.
Yeah, no, you probably couldn't hear anything. I don't even listen.
You're breaking your own fourth wall.
I broke the fifth wall.
The fifth wall with my penis.
What do you got going on, man? I know you're playing. I saw that was posted.
What do I got going on?
Yeah.
Like as of recently, like show-wise?
Show-wise, or you can talk personal-wise if you want. It doesn't matter.
I guess we can start show-wise. I mean, I guess the closest thing coming up is September 11th now. We just picked up that QXT's gig with
Michael Graves.
Mr. Michael Graves, Nimvind, and
formerly of the Misfits.
Argyle Goolsby in the Roving Midnight, which is cool for us as a band because we kind of formed at an Nimvind show, and I haven't seen Nimvind since that show.
Oh, nice.
The idea of our band started at an Nimvind show.
Cool.
Like 2013. It was pretty, So it's gonna be cool to open for someone that like kind of helped kick the idea off. Darrow was there too. Darrow was at that show, and obviously I'm playing with Darrow now too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird how
it all comes full circle.
Yeah. Never thought I'd be where I am right now. It's cool. So I'm looking forward to that. And then obviously we got your birthday bash.
Yeah.
Which I'm very looking forward to.
I'm very excited.
Let's hear more about this birthday bash.
Yeah.
I keep reading about it on Facebook.
I want to know more about
I want it to be a little fleshed out.
Oh, all right. So Splatterhouse is like I'm going to start with the farthest away bands.
Okay.
Furthest, yes.
Farthest.
Not an English major.
No.
not even
major
close.
asshole.
Not even close.
Fucking. No, Splatterhouse is like a horror punk, kind of like hardcore band from Long Island.
Okay.
And Cover Me Bad is like the ultimate punk rock mixtape cover band.
Okay.
I dig that.
They play like Jawbreaker.
Oh, nice.
And like the Replacements.
Cool.
And like just like weird shit that like the Descendants. Fucking. They're not up there covering like Blink 182 and Green Day like every other cover band. Like they play like
cuts,
cool shit like
will.
Tom Petty, Black Flag. Like they go all over the place.
Choice.
So like, and I got you guys and I got me. Well, us.
So, us. Yeah.
So what are the name of the band so people fucking know?
Whoremoans.
Oh, okay.
We got Sean on the guitar.
Uh-huh.
He's doing it.
Cool.
Jordan on the drums. He's going to be hitting that shit. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum.
Right.
My friend Jeff over here on the bass.
Cool.
Slopping the bass.
Slopping the bass.
Because we talked about this one time. And he's like, I used to play bass. I want to play bass again, man.
I'm a bassist that plays guitar in 3 bands. Is what I am.
So I'm going to let him just rip it.
Nice. Gotta get that out, right?
Yeah, it was what I was doing before I got over here too. I was practicing.
Nice.
Some stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Is it fun? A whole step down?
Yeah, that's what Devil in the Belfry plays.
Nice.
So I'm kind of like already used to it,
Oh, that's even better, man.
Yeah, I like that. It's not heavier, but it's that false kind of feeling of heavier. You know what I mean? Like it's not the down tuning that makes it heavy, but it gives it that kind of like I don't know how to describe it, but it feels better.
Yeah, Phil, you know what that means, right? Down tuning?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Like, I always thought about down tuning kind of negatively. Like I thought it was like a lazy way to be heavy. Like anybody could tune to D and fucking, chug out riffs or drop D.
Right.
But like as I got older, like I started like running out of ideas in standard tuning. Like I could pick up a guitar that's tuned down a half step or a whole step and write a different song than I would write if I picked up a guitar that's tuned to E. And I could take that song and play it in E, and it sounds just the same to me. Or I could take my other songs that I already play in E and just play them on the guitar that's tuned down a whole step. Like, I don't know, it opened me up.
Right.
But I love being a whole step down because I feel like I could scream so much more shit.
Yeah, easier on the vocals. Yeah.
Oh.
No, it's going to be harder.
That's interesting.
Yeah, you'd say
Yeah,
so.
because I'm so worried a lot of the time about hitting my high notes. Like in standard tuning, like I'm at the point I'm getting old and I smoke. And so like I'm getting to the point where like some of my high notes is like, like I can't really do it as well.
Good job, Wiener.
But yeah, no, I could just cheat and go down a step. And then I could belt that shit, and then I could scream.
So you're gonna feel more inclined to do that.
Oh yeah.
Which in turn is going to make it harder because you're going to be doing more of it. Is what you're saying. Yeah.
I am gonna romp.
You're gonna romp?
I'm gonna make Henry Rollins look like a little bitch too, because I'm gonna get in really good shape. Play in my birthday suit.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
That won't be weird, right?
It's actually just a suit that's been scanned. Your naked body's been scanned onto an actual suit. Right?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Your birthday suit.
No, you know whose naked body I scanned onto
Oh, it's not even your naked body. But it's a birthday suit. So.
Tony Danza's naked body.
Paul thinks
And
about
I
that
got
all
Jess
the time.
O'Lantern too. I don't think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I'm putting her third because she always opens for the boys.
Always opens. And
She always says, I open for the boys.
I think it'd be every time, and I think it'd be cool to have more of not downplaying her abilities as an intermission, but kind of like a break of loud noise. It'd be nice to have, once the bands start going.
My thought is that she always gets the beginning crowd too.
Yeah.
Like I want her to have like the middle of the night crowd that's like having a good time already. Like they'll love her that much more.
They'll be loosening up with drinks.
The people that are there early, like they're always there early. Like sometimes you get weird people too in the middle of the show that like wouldn't.
Yeah.
They kind of just wandered in, especially at that place. It's like got a weird crowd that just wanders in off the street that like loves music and like loves to hang out there. So like I think she'll like kill with the regular people that are there too. Like that's gonna be, I think, a good show for her. I'm psyched.
It'll be a change of pace for her too.
It'll be killa.
Nice.
And you and Sean gotta pull the double dutes.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of used to stuff like that. I just assume any
Kinda
show
used
I'm
to that
playing,
stuff now.
any show I play now, it's just like, all right, who else am I playing with?
I'm in 10 band.
Like, yeah, I don't know.
Just call me 10 band Tom.
Gotta do something.
Right?
That'll be fun.
know.
Who else is on that the Michael Graves show September 11th? This is Singai, Darrow Chemical Company.
Singai got added, and I think Jess wasn't gonna originally do it, but
she
she's
is
on there now.
I saw, yeah.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a good show.
that is gonna be a good show. I'm looking forward to it.
QXTs.
Yeah,
September 11th.
never played there either. I've been
never-
outside.
I've never been to a punk show there. I've been there to dance to
The Dark Industrial.
to Rammstein and The Cure.
And basically
Like
every
remixed
English teacher in all of New Jersey is there that night, and they're all wearing like black leather boots.
They're all horny, yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I went there. The first time I ever went there, I met this kid, and he's like, "Hey, my name's Blaze," and I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man?" And then I was like bullshitting with him. He was just kind of like eyeballing me, being like a little weird and confrontational, and he fucking left. And then my girlfriend at the time goes, "You know his name's not really Blaze, right?" Like, yeah, no, what is it? And she goes, Frank. It's like, oh, okay, like, yeah, maybe if my name was that, I would change it to Blaze or Nitro.
Right.
I would be named after one of the American Gladiators.
Really?
I think so,
Can we
yeah.
go that route?
Yeah, why not?
I don't know. People think it's cheesy. You won't get
Titan.
laid when you get older. I don't know.
What would be a good...
I like
Titan?
the idea of American Gladiator. You know, I don't know what it's not a stage name at that point too. What is that?
No, that's the real names. I think they all changed it.
They all changed it.
Nitro, like that's that guy's real name now.
You are now Nitro, knighted into.
They knighted him.
You can pick like an exotic animal of some sort, like an ocelot. Not maybe
Cheetah.
not exotic,
Ocelot.
but ocelot.
Cheetah.
Or something. You know, you go dig through like a biological research book and find the weirdest animal you can find. Yeah.
Ooh.
Something that's probably only 2 syllables. I like the 2 syllables.
I'm the Knight Rider.
Yeah.
No, Knight Rider's 3. You're disqualified.
Well, it's taken too.
Speaking of Knight Rider, remember Knight Rider?
Yeah.
I want to see a Knight Rider like remake so bad, where Gilbert Gottfried does the voice of the car.
I was doing the original Mad Max, man. I'm the Knight Rider in the beginning scene. The guy who takes off in his car and tries to kill him with the rocket who blows up.
I don't like the first Mad Max.
It sucks, but the beginning and the end are good.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
And the guy's name is the Toe Cutter, which is now that's a name. You'll never forget the Toe Cutter. Yeah. Nitro.
Road Warrior's the shit.
Road Warrior.
Word.
That's yeah. I was, you know what? Beyond Thunderdome, I like the whole Thunderdome thing. I didn't like the whole kids thing. It kind of took away from the apocalyptic kind of like, you know, every man for himself. It added too much family-friendly aspect to it. That's why Road Warrior's still my favorite. It's just the most ruthless, you know.
Well, no, you saw the last one though, right?
Fury Road, yeah.
Dude, that was awesome too.
I missed that one.
I was expecting the worst, and I was, you know, received with the best.
Dude, I was fucking blown away by that movie. Like, it feels like just like some weird space opera or something. Like, it's like this odd, like cinematic, orchestral fucking, like a 2-hour music video of complete fucking insanity.
Was it gritty and dark? Good. That's what it needs to be.
You didn't see it?
No, man, I have to.
That.
I know. I need to see the new Blade Runner too.
Not really.
Not really.
That I haven't seen yet either. The new Mad Max is definitely worth watching.
Could there ever be a better villain than the Humongous? He's the Humongous, the Lord Humongous,
you know what?
Ruler of the wasteland, Ayatollah of rock and roller.
Yeah, there is.
And then the feral kid cuts off the dude's head, and he's got to hide.
There's like 3 of them in this.
Fuck.
There's one dude that's just like a big...
The guitarist guy, right?
The guitarist guy. He's like this skinny guitarist guy playing like these fucking... just speeding through the desert like on this car.
Suspended and just kind of like floating on this giant car that's just stacked with speakers. It looks like a... You know, like it looks like you're seeing like the Ramones or like kind of
it looks like some kind of weird kid's drawing of like this crude fucking thing. It's nuts. And then there's the big fat guy with the mask on. I forget his name.
I don't remember their names.
But he's like a fucking, just like a, he like lets the water down for the people, and then like they've had enough, and he just turns it off.
Not one of those.
Oh, we're thirsty.
What a dick.
Yeah. No, it's great. I highly recommend that you that's your homework.
That's my homework.
That you have to watch Fury Road.
I've been scolded, and I will watch it. And I'll give you my thoughts next time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like sci-fi kind of... It took like a weird turn now.
Okay.
Like we're just getting a lot of shit that we already had for like years. Like we got Independence
Altered Carbon, man. Altered Carbon on fucking Netflix. Watch that fucking movie. Yeah. Watch that fucking movie. It's like a show, but it's like
Every
a movie.
Every time I scroll past that, I'm like,
it's like you could change bodies, right? Your consciousness is in a chip.
Oh, that's right. I saw it.
So you change it like sleeves, and some people are immortal, and then somebody tried to kill one of the immortal guys, so they wake up this guy to figure it out, and he used to be a mercenary, and he's having flashbacks and shit. It is fucked up. Fucking cool. I'm telling you, you gotta invest the time, though. It's fucking good.
Altered Carbon.
Yes.
On the Netflix.
It's a Netflix original, right?
Yeah, it is. And I've been watching. You're right. It was a TV show.
Science Theater 3000.
Oh, nice.
You know what? They do it very well. It's you know the little the countdown. So when they go into the theater and they do the countdown, it's all practical. It's all like little miniatures made, just like the original. It's still just as cheesy.
Did they do another season of it, or just the one?
They're coming out with a new one soon.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm getting caught up on the. I got through a few of them, you know, here and there.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, they do such a good job. It's just like watching the original. It's just It's Felicia Day and Patton Oswalt are like the two evil scientist guys that are doing the brain wave.
When I watch a show like that, it reminds myself of when I was in college when we used to use the fucking college, like we got a club, like a B movie club, and we just got fucking high, and then I fucked a girl in the back of the room one time. Let's not talk about that right now. Anyway, everybody was watching the movie, nobody was paying attention, and half the people are asleep. But the point here is that we made the same fucking dirty comments as that goddamn show, and I didn't get paid a dime, and they made all this fucking money, and I'm pissed off about that.
Nobody cares.
Okay, fine, good. Asshole.
What, you want to sit here and riff movies, Phil?
We could if you want.
I don't think we could. I think we'd get sued.
Yeah,
Unless
probably.
we pick something in the public domain. That
You know what?
nobody
Maybe
knows.
if we weren't silhouetted, we can get away with it.
Oh, yeah, that's
You know?
You ever watch any of the riff tracks?
Riff tracks.
Riff Tracks is the original MST3K guys, and they basically make soundtracks that go over movies.
Oh, okay.
Like, so you can watch, like...
Oh, I've never heard of
I
that.
have, like, Predator.
I should have.
Predator with it is fucking hilarious. The Star Wars movies are fucking gold.
So basically,
Twilight.
So are they doing like a crappy version of it, or are they just kind of like adding a whole new soundtrack to give it a different feel? Is that what they're doing?
No, they're riffing on the movies. Like, it's just like them talk. Like, you start it at a certain point. A lot of the time what people do is they just download it and they put it up online somewhere, and everybody gets it. And then, like, they put in there, like, if you got this from somewhere other than rifftracks.com, like, donate a couple bucks. Apparently it does pretty well because they've been fucking killing it. They're all over Netflix Prime.
Yeah.
Or, Amazon Prime.
Netflix Prime.
Netflix
That's,
Prime.
2020, Netflix Prime will rule the world.
I've coined that.
Yeah.
But, no, it's
There's
cool.
a bunch of people in some like boardroom now, like, damn it, they found out. Now we gotta change the whole plan.
YouTube's listening, dude.
Everything is listening. Yes.
They do Predator, which is like, I think it's like a movie I never thought of like really riffing on.
Yeah.
Like, they do good movies sometimes that like you would just never consider. Like, why would they riff on this? Interstellar. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I mean, yeah, I guess there's stuff in there, but I was like kind of captivated by a movie like Predator. Like, I would never consider it like how Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They like make fun, you know.
You can make fun of anything.
You could, but
really
there's certain. I go into watching certain things with like an idea. Like, I'm not gonna go to the new Halloween movie and like crack jokes like I did at fucking Halloween Resurrection.
Right.
I mean, like, the rapper in it cracked more jokes than I did. That dude, you saw that movie, right?
Resurrection?
I think it was Resurrection. Yeah, the 8th one. It's got like
I
a
have not seen
reality
all
show.
of them. I've seen
A reality show goes into a house and like tries to film this like show like in the Myers house, and he comes back. He murders Jamie Lee Curtis right at the beginning, throws the bitch right off a roof.
So it's like the second Friday the 13th, where it's just like the main character is gonna have this role, and then it's like off right at the beginning of the movie. You're like, oh, okay.
Well, yeah, the whole thing was she did H2O.
Oh yeah.
Halloween H2O, which I thought was pretty good. And then at the end, she murders who she thinks is Michael Myers. Mm-hmm. She cuts the guy's head off. It's over, you know. Of course, they optioned her for a sequel, so they hit her up for that, and she only wanted to be in it for like 10 minutes. She wanted to be killed in the first 10 minutes. Like, that was her thing. Like, yeah, I'll do the sequel, and it cost them a shitload of money, so they fucking murdered her. Yeah, and then it's just like, oh, now he just kills he's just going back to his house, murders some people, like. These fucking weirdos are shooting a show in his house, like a reality show that's like online.
So bizarre.
People are like, "Oh yeah, you gotta sign in, and it's the murders at the Myers house." Like, really just dumb nonsense. The asshole producer guy, the one guy puts on the Myers costume, he gets fucking murdered.
Yeah, like, hey, look at me,
for being an asshole.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I like that every time somebody does that in one of those movies, like except the one time when the cops like go up to the guy, I think it's Halloween 4 or 5, and he's like, "Hey man, it's just I'm just playing around." One of them gets like run over by the cops, like the cops just see him on the road and fucking run him down, and then they're like, "Oh no, this is Steve Johnson." Like, they pull the mask off, it's like, "Oh, it's not Michael Myers." Still out there.
Yeah.
Anytime you dress up as him, you deserve to die. If you're in that,
you're testing fate at that point.
Yeah, you really are.
It's like fucking Bloody Mary and shit. Yo, did you ever see this movie? It's like the original Night of the Living Dead, but they take out the soundtrack and they put like a comic soundtrack in it. It's like the longest title. It's the Day of the Dawn of the Sun of the Bride of the Return of the Revenge of the Attack of the Killer Mutant Evil Zombies Part 2 in live 2D. And I might have fucked it up. But anyway, that's YouTube, fucking gold. That's fucking gold. There's like in the middle, it just stops and it's like, Ed eats a donut. And it's just a fat guy eats a donut. And they start the movie again. That cracks me up.
That's like one of those old school, like, cult underground things that, like, I remember reading about it on IMDb, like, what's this, like, related movie? What the fuck? And it's like some weird guy dubbed Night of the Living Dead. And, like, it cut all this weird shit into it. I would watch that.
It's gold, man. It's so gold.
Well, Kung Pao kind of did that. They took that old, martial arts movie and just cut into it and made a whole other movie out of it with the original scenes and added scenes.
That's right, yeah.
And that did well.
Kung Pao, Enter the Fist.
And I'm still upset there was never an actual sequel.
It's coming. He always says it's coming.
Yeah.
You ever watch all those the tongue movies, or what are the names of them? There's the Titanic. They do all those movies, but just with the tongues.
Right.
No, I never saw.
You never seen those?
I have, yeah.
No. Or no, sorry, not tongues, thumbs. They're thumbs.
Right,
thumbs.
Yeah, it's like the thumb
I'm
theater.
thinking of Tonguey from Kung Pao. I'm getting confused. Yes,
that would be horrifying. Just tongues going.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. A mustache on a tongue.
Googly eyes.
And thumbs.
If it was a bunch of girls, it might be strangely erotic.
Yeah, I've seen the thumb cinema.
I mean, adult women.
Batman, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yep.
It's funny.
Gotham, right? Come on, it's like that's some good stuff.
Genius.
It really is.
I never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
In a million years.
In a million years.
Yeah. Some good stuff.
Oh,
some classic gems on the internet.
I think it's break time.
Is it break time?
Yeah, we'll take a break.
Right. I think we have one of those things that Mr. Jim Cook did for us that we said we listened to and never did, and now we're playing.
Mr. Jim Cook, because Mr. Jim's a different person. You say he's just Jim Cook.
Oh, he's just James
Nobody
Cook.
else could be Mr. Jim.
There's a Mr. Jim?
Yeah, he's the drummer in the Misfits.
Oh, that Mr. Jim.
Dude,
okay.
That guy.
He can be like that. I understand.
He's a fucking sick drummer, Mr. Jim.
Mm-hmm.
For playing.
True.
It's funny. I'll tell you before we go on break. I'll tell you a funny story. Like,
lay it down, my man.
When Mr. Jim, he told me like when they were in the band, it was like 78, I think.
Fuck.
And like he was just in a rock band, like he just wanted to play in like kind of like a bluesy rock band.
Right.
And like was in this band and they recorded this album and he thought it was like cool to like just. He's like, I never thought anybody was gonna listen to it, Like, and then it's like so funny to think like what it became, like, especially Static Age is like I think everybody's either in Static Age or Earth AD.
Yeah.
Like I really like Static Age a lot. I like Earth AD too, but
yeah, me too.
Like I think that's just like fucking great songwriting that you can appreciate because it's not at like a breakneck pace.
Yeah.
Whereas like Earth AD, like the songs, like a lot of them, I think they're fast and they're fucking heavy and that's awesome. But like you can't completely appreciate like what the hell he's talking about.
Yep.
Like I listened when he was fucking singing when I was a kid.
Hell yeah.
Like, I tried to pay attention and when I have no idea, like Green Hell, he could be fucking reading an egg salad recipe. Like I have no clue.
They broke down some boundaries too, and I feel like there's something about living in this area and kind of being into rock and like, they made it and they were from a little bullshit town, Fly Speck, in the shadow of New York City.
Town. That's the Mecca.
I'm just saying that there's something encouraging being from this area and like listening to the Misfits when you're 16 and you idolize rock and roll. I don't know. I feel like there's something about that.
That was what as soon as I heard that. At least for
me,
as soon as I heard that, that's like. I was like, I want to play music. Like, I wanted to play music anyway, but that was like what made me like want to start a band, I guess.
I want to wear dark makeup and get laid.
And I did. For like years. I banged so much crazy.
So many skanks.
Yeah.
Listen, skanks. Awesome.
Misfits and skanks.
I've only got a few skanks. I've got some nice, lovely ladies that I've spent some time with, but that's different.
Phil. Always with the fucking broads. Jesus.
I'm awful. I just think of my dick. What can I do? It's the way God made me.
I wrote a song once called My Two Heads. Mm-hmm. And it goes, here's my problem. I have two heads. One is good for thinking and the other's good in bed. Big head, little head. What do I do? Big head, little head. Which will I listen to? I'm not allowed to write kids songs anymore.
And they won't let them back in the library.
And on that note, we're going to take a little break. But we'll be back.
Let's take a break while these assholes waste a few more brain cells. Wish they wouldn't. They don't have too many to spare.
What a dick!
Hey, I wrote that, man.
So we're down with Belfry. The original down with Belfry right now, actually. Momentarily. Me too. Fucking A, man. Alright, we're gonna keep this moving. So, where's old Jerry? We got CDs, dude. We've got physical CDs. I know you've been waiting forever.
To 5 for now. I'm going to do copywriting for a while, but eventually I want to try my hand at fiction.
We're back.
We are back.
Oh, hey.
We're back live.
Well, welcome us back.
Two Assholes Shitty Podcast. Welcome back. Welcome back to Two Assholes Shitty Podcast. This is the announcer, Tony Danza.
We just finished violating Tony horribly.
Who's the boss, Phil? Who's the boss? Hey, did you guys ever watch the last episode of Family Matters? The last two?
No.
Oh yeah, I saw
So
your
apparently,
Facebook
what is it? Pretty
thing.
heavy?
Dude, it's fucking insane. So, to break it down, Urkel and Laura are finally getting married. This is part one.
Okay.
Urkel and Laura are
Two-part,
finally getting married. They're sitting around joking about consummating the marriage. Urkel gets all excited. And then,
Like a baby orangutan?
yeah. So then then a guy knocks at the door, and he's like a guy from NASA, and he's like, "You made an invention that can put gravity in places where there's no gravity. We want you to come to space, but it's a 6-month training, and then we're gonna fly to space to try your invention." So
You know what this sounds like? This sounds like nobody was watching this shit anymore. Just do whatever the fuck you want.
yeah, right, whatever you want, we'll just make it.
So how many seasons was it? Was the last
I
season?
think it was the 9th season.
They made it 9
Family
seasons,
Matters.
yeah.
That's amazing though in TV time.
They should have changed it to Urkel Matters.
Urkel Matters.
Because
Urkel
in
kept
that
it alive.
show, to not to
Right?
cut myself off, but that show started as like a nice show about like a fucking family living in Chicago,
Right.
and it's supposed to be like the normal everyday life that they deal with.
Yeah.
And they introduced like that character as kind of like a joke, like side character.
Right.
And
Comic
people
relief or
thought
whatever, yeah.
it was the greatest thing ever. Like the ratings went through the roof. And just like kind of like Webster, like
yeah.
that show started the same kind of way. Like it was supposed to be about the parents, and it became about Webster's antics.
Right.
Like that show just devolved into a show about Urkel making weird machines that could turn him into Bruce Lee, and a sexy guy named Stefan.
Yeah.
And him making evil robot versions of himself, and evil puppet versions of him and Carl. Remember Stevel and Carl's bed?
It was all taglines, man. That's all it was. It was just Urkel taglines.
Yeah. But anyway, so Urkel gets to go to space. So he goes to space. And meanwhile, back on Earth, Eddie passes his police exam and becomes a police officer. So he's out on the streets patrolling.
Uh-huh.
Carl and the new Mrs. Harriet Winslow, because it's a different actress.
I hate when they do that.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, they just throw her to fuck in there. Like, no.
This is the Darren on Bewitched thing? They just
Yeah.
switched Darrens and didn't say anything?
Yeah, and they also have a kid that they adopted, that kid 3J, who's just like a mouthy little kid. Like,
Oh, God.
I knew Urkel was gonna screw up. Like, he's just like he's like Mr. T, but in like a 5-year-old boy.
You know they jumped the shark when they threw that in?
Yeah, when they adopted 3J. But yeah, Eddie passes the exam. Carl and Harriet go and have dinner with the police chief. And Harriet expresses her concern that the job may be dangerous for Eddie.
Right.
And gets him reassigned to like being on the parking meters. So he's like a meter maid.
Must have liked that.
And so Urkel's in space. He turns on his dumb machine, and it fucks everything up because It's good. It works. It works great. Too great, in fact, because it pulls a satellite out of orbit, which crashes right into his spaceship, which then...
Oh, my God.
See, this sounds just like a sci-fi show
dude,
now.
it tumbles through fucking space with the satellite attached. And then both of the guys that were like the real astronauts get hurt. And Urkel has to do a spacewalk to go take the... satellite.
Was there, or did I do that in there somewhere? Like when?
No, there was not one.
And he's imbued with cosmic radiation energy to
like
become a superhero.
And he just drops one of those lines.
When Urkel hits the Van Allen radiation belt, it turns into a monster. No. So he goes out and pulls the fucking satellite off the shit. But he forgot his tether. Typical Urkel fashion.
Class.
So now he's just floating in space, holding on to a satellite. And
burning up the
meanwhile,
re-entry.
back on Earth, Eddie's giving some bitch a parking ticket, and some guy runs out of a bank, and they have a shootout.
Fuck.
Earlier in the episode, when Eddie passed the test, his dad gave him a bulletproof vest and told him, "I got shot once."
Foreshadowing, yeah.
So then Eddie gets shot, and but he has the bulletproof vest on, so he lives and apprehends the suspect, and Carl tells Harriet that the job's dangerous no matter what he's doing because he has to uphold the law. And then Urkel hacks the satellite in space to use the thrusters to just shoot himself back towards the ship.
Of course he does.
And then he gets in the ship, and then they land safely on Earth. And then Laura makes him promise to never go back to space.
Her little vagina gets wet for her?
Dude.
Finally?
That is the most batshit insane last episode of a family show about people living in Chicago.
If you were to be like, hey, so how do you think that show ended?
Right?
And I were to be like, okay, well, probably, never even, I would never even touch that.
I always thought that show ended during the season when they went to Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was supposed to be the end of it all. And I think it ended up getting picked up for another season or 2 seasons after
Milk
7.
it for all it's worth.
Yeah, they tried. Boy, did they try. They always do.
Let's throw a sci-fi element in there.
So many shows, like, I don't know if you ever watched, like, News Radio. Like, there's crazy episodes of News Radio. There's one that takes place in space. Like, just bizarre shit that they try and do to shows in the last couple seasons. The Office was very guilty. I don't know if you ever watched that.
Oh, yeah, but
the American Office.
The American Office, yeah. The British one didn't go long enough.
Yeah, it was like, what 2 seasons?
Yeah.
Like the James Spader, season. That was a great season. Just because it was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't
so
like
out
as
of
good.
character for the rest of the...
But
if you watch the first
yeah.
couple seasons and then you watch that one, it's like, oh my god, like, what the fuck happened
It's not
to
even
this show?
close.
Yeah.
Ricky Gervais makes that show in the British one.
The British Office is fucking...
Yeah, Ricky Gervais makes that show. Without him, I don't know, but...
No, it's good. The American one's good.
The American one's very good, but there's a lot of characters in the American one, and I feel like Ricky Gervais makes the British one.
Yeah, the British one, totally. But it just became a character-driven show. It's like,
yeah.
How long, you're remaking a show from England, but you have this many episodes. Like, what, 8, 10, something like that? Like, it's not
I hung out with British people in Korea, and there was always this kind of, I don't know, superior quality of like, well, this show was originally British, and this show was originally British and shit like that. Have you ever encountered anything like that?
Almost like elitists in a way, or like, well,
they would just slip it into conversation.
But we kind of started it.
Just as like when you meet the French, and the first thing they always ask you is, do you speak French? Because they don't want to speak English, but they speak perfect English. Anyway, it doesn't.
You know what? I call it Downtown Abbey just to piss off British.
Downtown Abbey.
I call it Downtown Abbey.
You still have a queen? That's so passe.
I don't know. I never watched
We have a president that acts like a king.
It seemed like something that would be on PBS, and I think it was.
What Downton Abbey?
Yeah.
It's got to be so boring.
My ex made me watch it, an episode or two, and I was like, no, please,
Snorefest.
Please don't ever put
the
this on
things we do for women.
Downton
And I don't know where that idea spawned in her brain.
Downton my pants.
Why are you watching this?
Welcome to Downton Abbey.
We just killed a guy. He's in the closet.
I don't.
Oh my god.
If I'm gonna watch like a stuffy British broad, I'm gonna watch Murder, She Wrote. It's like a hot old lady that solves crimes.
Did you ever watch Penny Dreadful? That was pretty
That's
good.
another one. I was actually thinking about that today. I was thinking about,
Amazing.
new shows to watch.
Amazing.
I never caught.
was-
It's a period piece, and it's all the classic monsters, but they redid all the classic monsters.
Well, like
The
Universal.
Frankenstein is totally different, and
cool.
yeah, the Dracula is totally different. Very, very cool, and it's like in old-timey England, like 19th century England. So it's like also a period piece,
That always seemed interesting.
and like the costumes and the way they do all the sets and stuff is really impressive. So I definitely recommend that. And Penny Dreadful was like a penny novel that had horrific stories in the 19th century, and that's really where horror began. Modern horror began.
Totally.
So that's kind of an homage to that, and they do it really well.
Oh,
So,
cool. Yeah, I'll
like
check that out.
Yeah, for sure.
I like when shows or movies pay homage, but do it right.
Yes.
Do it respectfully.
Yes.
You know? Unless it's clearly a parody, and if they do that right, then it's okay. All right, I'll let that slide.
It's an homage, but it's its own thing. It's
Like,
not the
Abbott and
old
Costello
tired thing.
Meet Frankenstein. I always feel like is the perfect. Like, it's an awesome Universal monster movie. Like, you get to see all the monsters. They do all the typical shit that the Universal monsters do. But then you get Abbott and Costello in there. Abbott and Costello. Did you ever see it?
I've never seen that one, no.
You should check that out. It's like really cool. Like, the only unfortunate thing is that Glenn Strange plays the Frankenstein monster instead of Boris Karloff.
Yeah.
But like,
Do millennials watch this? Do millennials even know who these people
you
are?
know who Abbott and Costello are, right? Who's on first?
Yeah,
It's a big fat guy and a skinny
You
little
hear the
guy.
name all the time, yeah.
They don't watch black and white anything. I
What
don't
this
think.
movie was basically they're a comedy team and they meet the Universal monsters.
Yeah.
And like, it was, I think, what, the 50s probably, right? That movie?
I don't know. It was some mashup from my grandfather's time.
But like, I was thinking about it. I would love to see a movie where you take Franco and Rogan,
Right.
Danny McBride,
Oh, wow. Are you pitching something right now?
Michael Cera.
Look at you.
Well, I heard that New Line is going to have a shared universe of Leatherface, Freddy
Oh.
Krueger, and
Oh.
Jason.
Yeah.
Because they have the rights to all of them
And that's
now.
trending right now. Shared
Yeah.
universes.
It's
My
gonna be
nipples
like
are
the
hard.
Avengers of horror.
Yeah.
They're going to screw it up.
I want to see
They're gonna screw it up.
the comedy.
It sounds like it'd be.
I want to see
Yeah.
the comedy mashup of like those dudes. Those dudes, the Danny McBride is writing the fucking Halloween movie.
Oh.
That's Kenny Powers, like from Eastbound and Down.
Oh, yeah. He's
Dude,
great.
Yeah.
He wrote the Halloween movie.
The
Him and
new one that's coming out with
the new one that's
Jamie
coming
Lee.
out. Like
Oh.
he's like a huge horror fan.
Yeah.
No
I
idea.
think they could totally make a movie that's within both the tone of like Pineapple Express
Uh-huh.
and any one of those three, like Nightmare on Elm Street.
I love the
Or
comedy
whatever.
horror, and it's not done enough. And Arachnophobia was a fantastic movie, and I think they're the only one who
I
ever
was
did it
never
right.
crazy about comedy
Fuck you,
horror.
shut up.
Some of
It's
it I
fantastic.
love. Some of it I love. Like I think
be done well.
Brain Dead or
Yes, that's a great movie.
Peter Jackson. What the hell is it called in America? I forget.
You're
It's not
so
called
cool.
Brain
What's
Dead.
it called in America?
No, I can't remember.
Okay.
That sucks.
Marijuana. This
What
is
is it?
what it does. Marijuana, it does this to the memory. Short-term memory.
I could look it up.
You should
seen
look it up.
It's
You
the
should
guy with
look
the
it up.
lawnmower. Not bad taste.
It's not lawnmower,
Brain
man.
Dead in where? Britain?
Yeah, in England.
And
You're
it was renamed.
It's
for,
got there's like a rat that bites the guy at the beginning, and then there's like a fucking zombie baby in it. What the fuck movie is that?
Zombie baby.
It's not
in
Dead
America.
Alive.
Dead Alive.
Dead Alive.
Dead
That's what it's called in
Alive.
America, yeah.
That's a great movie.
I have a
That's a
Brain Dead-
It's a
fantastic
movie
film.
I've seen twice full through, but never seen it with the audio on.
Why, where'd you watch it? Clash Bar?
No, right, your neighbor Joe there.
Oh, my buddy.
That's what he likes to do when
our
he's having a
bandmate?
gathering at the at his apartment. He just puts
He puts that, or he puts Return of the
Alive.
Living Dead.
yeah, and he just puts it
There's
on.
a couple
with the
classics
captions.
that he'll play, kind of like that.
But I have seen it at the Clash Bar as well. I think
Plays
it was
there.
last time we played together there.
Probably.
The
It plays
debut
there
of Beard and a
often.
Half, and it was on.
I almost want to hide it from Bob so he could play
Too much.
something
Yeah,
else.
it's like, come on, man. Well, too much.
This again, but it's a good movie. That's
Yeah.
a good comedy horror movie.
Yeah.
I like all the trauma shit. Like I think
Yes.
that's comedy horror
Yes.
done right. Like Class of Nukem High.
Yes.
Learn that
But it's kind
song.
of cheesy, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like I don't know if it's really if you consider it horror, but Shaun of the Dead was always one of my
Oh,
That's
yes.
a comedy
One
horror
of my
movie.
favorites.
totally.
Fantastic.
I love that when
love
they're picking the records.
Yeah, the Cornetto trilogy. I love those movies.
So fantastic.
Yeah.
So well done. And those guys went on to do a lot of other great things.
Hot Fuzz was fantastic.
Yeah.
Still, it's honestly one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time.
Wow.
Still to this day.
Wow.
There's a fun. Actually, that's a fun story. So when we went to see that movie in theaters, I was 16, I think, at the time. Girlfriend was 15, and the oldest guy we had with us was 20. So obviously an R-rated movie. So we go to the AMC in Rockaway.
Right.
We get there, and we're like, okay, let's all go see it. And we thought it'd be fine because someone was there that was older than 17. But it's like, oh no, you need someone. If you're under 17, you need someone who's 21 or older.
Oof.
And so our buddy Andy, who was like a week or two away from 21, we're like, oh shit, what are we gonna do? Shit, like, you know, all right. Oh, and then that Jamie Kennedy movie was playing. That's not the Malibu one, the one with the dancing one. I forget what it was called. Some spoof on some sort of like break dancing movie or whatever.
Okay.
So, all right, let's all just go buy tickets to that shitty movie, and then we'll like pretend to walk to that movie theater, and then just go hang out in the arcade for a minute or two, and then walk in and see Hot Fuzz. Right. So we did that. It went off perfectly. So we get in, we get to see Hot Fuzz.
Nice.
And we were all 15, 16, and my buddy was like 18 or 19, and yeah, we snuck in. And then that was also the first day my good friend George and his friend Snover saw a little person. I'm going to say little person because, you know, I'm progressive, very progressive.
Okay.
But man, they lost their shit. They've never seen a little person before. So we're on our way out, and they just dart towards the door, and they're like, oh my God, what? And we're just like, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, did you see? I'm like, what? It's like, it's a little guy, and there's a midget in there. I'm like, you've never seen a midget before? And I'm like, no, man. And I was just so taken back that their reaction to seeing a little person for the first time. I was like,
wow.
Man, it's just a little dude. Like, what's so crazy? But it's like, I don't know, man. I just never seen one.
His life is just like yours, except the pedals on his car are a little bit higher. What do you?
Yeah, like
I went to some pretty rural villages in Malawi, Africa, and some villages they had never seen white people before. And if you've ever seen a village of
Were
people,
you the first white person they
yes,
saw? Oh,
yes,
God.
and everybody wanted to touch my hair and my skin and shake my hand and say shep shep, which is thumbs up, which means okay, okay. And my friend actually played a game of Bow. You ever seen Mancala? It's like a long wooden thing with the holes, and you put the seeds. It's a very mathematical game, actually. Okay. My friend actually beat the local hotshot at it, which everybody was a little bit upset about, but they were very nice to us. And but it's really nerve-wracking to be the center of everyone's attention all the time, and I'm sure this little person could probably agree with that, you know. I mean, I'm sure your friends meant no disrespect whatsoever, but I'm sure this guy goes through, just walks through life, and people just want to always, like,
you really want to
gawk at him.
What they do. It's more like a waddle.
Hence the name of this podcast.
Yeah, right, there you go.
I took
stay true. He stayed true.
I took a nice young lady to river tubing last weekend, and I broke the fourth wall, sort of racism a little bit. So let me just tell you the story a little bit.
Okay.
So I told her, I said, let's go tubing because I didn't get to do anything summery this summer. I just went to the beach once, had a crazy summer, just got a new job, this, that, and the other. So I say, let's go tubing. I took her to the beach. The only other time she went to the beach, she sold hot dogs and soda with her father, which I thought was horrible. Nobody had ever taken this girl to the beach before. She's a lovely young lady. I mean, she's 35 now. So I said, let's go tubing. And she was apprehensive. Oh, my God. What if I tip the thing over? I don't know how to swim. And there's the stereotype that African Americans don't know how to swim.
Yep.
And I was like, you know, your people on the Underground Railroad crossed rivers and streams in the dark of night and ran away from fucking, you know, dogs and stuff like that, and you don't know how to swim. How is that? You know, how does that happen? And then I shared it with the other young lady that I'm seeing, who's also African American. You know what she told me? She said, did you know that they used to throw bleach in the public pool so that black people couldn't swim there? And she said, that's why we don't know how to swim. And that fucking blew my mind. And I felt horrified that I knew people that were affected generations later for that kind of racism.
That's crazy.
And that really impacted me this week. So I just kind of wanted to bring that up. And then I was just kind of like really nice to her. And I said, you know, Mickey, it's going to be fine. you're in a life vest. I swim very well. So we get down there, and there's like a whole bunch of parents with a whole bunch of kids, and they're all putting their things together, and they were taking forever. So we got tired of waiting, and she marched right into the river. We put the thing together, and she had the best time ever, and she was like, I would totally do it again. So, I just kind of put all her anxiety to rest, but I kind of felt like a little bit of a jerk in the beginning.
So basically,
because I gave her that little speech when really I was just an ignorant ass.
Dude, but that's probably, you never think about that, but that's probably the older generation's like, no, fuck that, we don't go in the pool.
I heard we're 3 generations away from slavery. Think about that. That's
what
I
mean. Yeah. So it's like the older generation's just like, no, fuck that, we don't go in the pool. So the kids never question it. They're just like,
my grandfather's generation, the N-word rolled off their tongue like saying the word the. Like it was just a word that we heard growing up. And we heard Jew, and we heard all these words, and I think we called them to each other jokingly. We never meant them as anything, and I had friends growing up of every race, and Bloomfield was actually very multiracial, which is something that I'm happy about.
That's something I did not know.
But even then, as a young age, I heard the N-word all the time. I mean, I heard bitch all the time, too. I heard all kinds of... Faggot, we called each other faggot all the time. And we didn't mean gay person by it. We just meant that, you're an asshole.
You're a burden.
You're a
faggot.
Yeah. Shut up, faggot. That's what that
really means.
Stop being a fucking faggot and get in there. We use that word all the time. And we never knew a gay person. In high school, I don't know, gay people were cool or something, You
don't call a gay person a faggot. You
call
them queer.
You call your friend a faggot.
Queer's acceptable now.
Queer's acceptable. Queer was the 60s. That's when it just meant
No, but now like they embraced it. It's you could call them. It's like a bunch of queers.
It's like the N-word. They took it back.
The straight guy or whatever. I know it's a few years old now.
I think it's Italian American.
Like when they go up to each other, like, "Yo, what's up, my faggot?"
No, but you hear them say, "You're so queer." You're so gay. I heard them say that to each other before.
Yeah, they took that.
I'm such an asshole. Like I've heard them say that to each other.
I've observed.
Golly gee willikers.
Their kind.
I've been slumming before. Jeeves drove me around the neighborhoods, and I found out about them, and they called each other the queer.
I grew up in the least diverse town. In
the fucking woods.
Yeah.
Where'd you grow up?
A little town called Stillwater.
Still water there?
Yeah, the lakes.
Just it didn't
lakes,
move?
Yeah, it was just a small group of people.
The non-riparian tidelands, Yeah.
Wow.
There was some nice, quaint lakes, I grew up on a little road called Potter's Road, right down the road from this farm.
Right.
Yeah, but man, it was not diverse by any means. I had the closest thing was I had a friend who was adopted. He was Korean. He was adopted into family there, and that was it.
Yeah, I know one of those families.
Yeah, and that was it for diversity. Everyone else was just white. That's it. But
Paul's got a bus full of them, but they're Chinese.
And like I went to school at Sussex County Community College. So I didn't go anywhere. I'm still in my roots.
Mm-hmm.
And then it wasn't so much culture shock. It was I went to NJT is where I finally ended up going to school.
Boy.
So like going from Sussex County Community College to living in Kearney for 2 years, going to NJT was just like, I knew what to expect, but it was like, it was like maybe 5 to 10% of the population of the school was Caucasian.
Yeah.
And just you have all these, people that are just coming from overseas. They want to learn here, and it's crazy.
Best schools in the world, they say.
Yeah.
But you pay forever for them.
So coming from this town that didn't have a single cul-de-sac in it, no subdivisions or anything, and then going into these where houses are built on top of each other, and you're living in apartment complexes with all these units, and it's just like it takes a little bit getting used to, but I got so used to it. I love having everything right in front of you. You walk into this Chinese restaurant across the street. This gas station right there.
Yeah, you don't have that luxury. Like,
no, you drive 10, 15 minutes to get to the first gas station or a
10, 15 minutes.
If you have an emergency, you're fucking dead.
Yeah, dude. And then when Irene and Sandy hit, or I think it was Irene was worse for us because that was the flooding. No, Sandy was worse because all the trees came down.
Is that with the snow?
No. That was Sandy was the tides. That's when everything shore got hit. But the winds up by us are crazy, and it took all the trees down. We didn't have power for a week and a half, and all the gas stations were running out of gas. So it was like some post-apocalyptic shit out there. I had to strategically be like, all right, I know this gas station doesn't get a lot of traffic. I know. So I had to drive up to Matamoros, Port Jervis, Montague area, and I was the last car to get gas there. I timed it perfectly. I pulled out and then put the cones up. I was like, fuck yeah, I got and we had a generator, and we're trying to get gas for the generator and shit like that. Man, it's crazy up there. And then I was actually living at Kearney at the time, but I was back home. It was like a break from school or some shit. It was spring break.
Some break.
Yeah. And so I come back to the apartment and check on everything, make sure everything's good. And there's lines. Every gas station's got lines. And it's just boom, it hit me. I was like, man, if this happened,
bad by you,
yeah, holy shit, it wasn't so bad. We had enough power. Everyone kind of, obviously the more heavily populated areas, more densely populated areas get more attention from PCG and JCP. And
you guys are at the bottom of the list.
It was just it's so sparse where all the houses are spread out and that. They're just they got contingency plans. They know what they're doing. But some people, man, it was nuts. All their food went bad, and it's crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
But seeing it out here and out there, it's two different worlds, only an hour apart in Jersey. So I grew up out there. I went to school out here. I learned everything, and then seeing disasters in both areas, it's pretty crazy. North Jersey, what it has to offer.
Yeah.
It is two completely different sides of the spectrum.
And they don't know about each other, I think. Everybody's in their own little fucking bubble.
Yeah.
The people in the suburbs think everywhere's like the suburbs, and the people in the inner city are just lazy because we work hard and we're okay, and then you go to the inner city and realize they're just being victimized by whatever so-called services are there. And everybody just takes advantage of them, and they just... need a side hustle just to survive. And then you go to the rich people, and they're in their own bubble. And the people in the country are in their own bubble.
Talking to
I feel like there's not enough cross of the bubbles here. Everybody's in their little stratified area.
I find that it happens a lot though in music. People that'll come out to shows.
Yeah.
They might be weird Wall Street dudes, or the dude I sold the Misfits pins. Me and Mr. Jim sold a bunch of OG Misfits pins back in the day.
Back in the day.
And we sold them to this dude who's some Wall Street day trader or something. He has a huge Misfits collection, but he still fucking goes out and checks out bands and knows what the hell's going on. I would never expect.
I ran into someone on the train coming back from a show one time. I was coming back from the city on the train. And I think it was me and Laura and I were just sitting on the. No, it was my buddy Eric. And this guy, he's he's kind of going back and forth. Obviously had a couple drinks in the city coming back, and we look over, and you make that eye contact, and all of a sudden it's that's their strangers well, it's
you made the eye contact, man.
You guys want to converse with me, So he's like, hey, what's going on, guys? Where are you guys from? We're like, well, from Montclair, And we just start talking, and he's like, oh yeah, it's a cool bar. Listen, you come from a concert, and he's like, just kind of trying to get the conversation going. We're like, yeah, we're coming from a show. He's like, oh, you guys into that heavy music? And we're like, yeah, metal and rock and punk and stuff. It's cool. He's like, yeah, man, I love that stuff. I listen to it all the time. There's this cool bar, and we just started talking, and it's this guy, he's in full suit, probably coming from so whatever business he's running out, and And it's, someone you would not expect at all to know anything about it on, the surface if you just sit there and judge the guy. No, he's well-versed. He's like, oh, I love Pantera, I love all that stuff.
Awesome.
And it's just it's cool to see that, to see someone you wouldn't expect surprises you.
I think that music is kind of the thing that'll bring, a song will resonate with somebody who's rich or poor or anywhere in between or
someone's
whatever.
Maybe been somewhere at that point in their life that the song is,
a song hits anybody in a million different ways, but I think I don't know, it is kind of the great unifier of music.
It really is.
There's metal bands in Brazil and Eastern Europe and fucking Japan.
Love fucking metal.
I saw
I
saw a punk rock band in Japan.
It's so cool that starting this band down in the Belfry. It's and just we're playing our old drummer's basement, just let's just make some noise, and if it goes anywhere, it goes anywhere, And now we have acquaintances in Germany and shit like that. We did a couple interviews with the guys out there, and these guys want to do like splits with us and stuff like that. And it's so cool to like we're just we're a bunch of nobodies from Jersey, you know, just kind of making some noise here, and we put some stuff online, and all of a sudden it's like these people
dig it, man.
all over the place. And then another band I play in a Gathering It On, we're half the CDs we've sold since we released a new album, half of them gone to Europe.
Cool.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Obviously, the lead singer of that band, TB, was in a band, Blitzkid, that toured, you know, everywhere in Europe and stuff like that. But it's so cool to, you know, that music brings like people together from everywhere. It's not just.
Sure. I noticed though, people in Europe listen to shit because they like it.
Yeah.
It's not like in America where like it really has to be like fed to them. Like you have to like make a music video and like be like sleek and stylish. Like yeah, I'm so cool. Like in fucking Europe, like. People just pirate your shit, like Russia. Like people, your shit's up on the Russian Facebook, my shit's up on the Russian Facebook. I don't fucking take it down. It's just like it's cool, man. Like that's fucking awesome. That's like support from like somewhere you never think.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. It's just they love it. Like in America, it really does have to be like fed to them.
Yeah, you know, it's like
presented.
We're trying to get friends or like close friends to come to shows is even tough. I remember when I first started playing in a band that gigged that kind of style. Like I played in like a little cover band with my brother, my ex, and two family friends. Like just, you know, because I just started playing bass and I was like, oh, let's fucking but whatever. And then
what was your band's name?
That band was called The Core because we came up with that because it was like our core group, you know. We've been friends since we were kids, kind of thing.
Oh, so that's cool.
It's a cheesy little name. It was fun. It was my introduction to music. Is really, you know, I got to run this band and pick what we were gonna do and learn. Like I learned a lot of things from that by like, you know, yelling at the guitars because you didn't learn quick enough. Obviously, like, you know, knowing that like some members aren't going to contribute as much as others and stuff like that. And we never really gigged with that. Was like a backyard at barbecues kind of band thing.
Yeah.
And then the second band I joined, I played bass for a progressive-ish metal band called Prominence. A buddy I met in Accounting College, my first class, my buddy John, and his friend Nate, who go way back. They went to school up in High Point. I went to Kittatinny. It was like two separate areas of Sussex County that were, you know. So I met him in college, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we had a drummer now." Who coincidentally I met in that same class. I met the other one, but I didn't realize it was him until we started jamming. I was like, "Oh shit, I met both of you guys in the same class." So I played bass for them, and we started learning these songs. It was like if Cody and Camry was heavy, like, you know, it was like that kind of progressive.
Is it recorded anywhere or no?
Yeah. There's some really like shoddy recordings. Like, no offense to the guy that recorded us, but like he just didn't know what he was doing because he's used to recording like folk stuff. But we got a good deal on it, so we're like, oh yeah, let's do it. You know, we're like 19 and
got $100. We're going to the studio.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it cost us like $400 to record like 6 songs and
cool. I remember those days. Those were good.
And like.
Oh yeah.
And that was my first studio, you know, like being in the studio. I was like so prepared. I had my Sansamp bass track, brand new strings, set the bass up, and my bass sounded awesome on the recordings. The drums were recorded all right. They put like the mic way in. It sounded all muffly. The guitars recorded simultaneously, which is never seen before. I never thought they'd do that. Strings were dead though, and it's like the vocals. We didn't have a vocalist yet necessarily, like a designated vocalist. So John, my friend, he's like, all right, I'll do like the cleans, and then Jack, our drummer, is gonna do the harsh vocals for the first half, and then Nate is gonna do the harsh vocals because he wrote the last half of that. So it's like this weird Frankenstein of an album. And then like a month later, I called my buddy Eric, and I was like, hey dude, you want to? I've watched him play. He's a good guitarist. I'm like, yo, do you want to try out? Well, you know, we're doing this thing, and he tried out, and he joined, and then John took over as just lead singer, and Eric took guitar. So it became this thing, but the recordings are just I don't know, just mashed together. Like we had to do.
It was like recorded in a transitional phase. I guess.
So we kind of like, well, let's just get something out there, so we have something to give people, you know. And like at the time, I was like, this is so cool, you know, like awesome. Oh my god, like listen to my cool bass solo, guys. This is, you know, like I'm so like into myself, like that's a CD. I'm on that, you know. Like I'm so like it's so like surreal, like, and I'm so like just I don't know.
You're heady off of it.
Yeah. I'm just like, wow, this is so cool. I never thought I'd be on a record, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Even though, like, looking back, we all talk about every once in a while, like, oh, Providence comeback, and we were never anything. It was not. We did a couple pay-to-play shows, and it was it, you know?
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And it was. And looking back, it sounds awful. Like the quality is just like, oh god. Like some of the songs were recorded without a metronome, and it was slow, and it was just like, oh. But like that's where it started. You know, that was my first recording experience, my first playing out live, doing like learning how promoters work and how shows work, and I learned that it is just brutal with the pay to play. And I vowed once that band was over, because what broke that band up was actually a Michael Graves show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So which was the Vagabond era. I don't know if it was acoustic, the one where Joe, JV, and him were going around doing the acoustic thing.
Where was it supposed to be?
All right, so down in Kenilworth, 10th Street Live. You remember that place?
Okay, yeah.
Right. It was, I think, a very short-lived venue. It was like maybe a year or two.
Oh, it's gone now?
Yeah. I haven't seen. You know who used to Ben from DAA.
I heard so.
Promote there, but. No longer. I haven't seen anything about it.
I haven't seen a post about it in a long time. 3 years
or anything. So we go down there, and we're from Sussex County. We're an hour and a half away easily. Wow. But I was like, oh my god, Michael Graves. You know, like this is the reason I wanted to start playing music. Like, and actually, like
really,
sort of. Like he was the reason I was like, all right, if I started my own band, I want to be like a Michael Graves kind of sound. Like I want. Punk Rock Is Dead was what did it for me.
Yeah, Punk Rock Is Dead was a good album.
Which shows my years. I'm not that old, you know. Like people are like, oh yeah, when Static Age came out, I'll be 28 in September.
Okay.
So
yeah, you're not.
I'm a little younger compared to some of the other well-versed horror punk, quote unquote horror punks out there. That it's like, oh yeah, Static Age came out, that shit was dope, or I was in my 20s when the Resurrection happened, and but like I was it was like 2006 or something like that, and I met Michael Graves at Monster Mania at Chiller Theater. I got Punk Rock Is Dead, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I'm a shitty guitarist and a shitty bassist. I can I'm not that great, but like punk rock is like awesome for that. Like I don't have to be super technical and super well versed in scales. I can just like get up and play these chords.
That's how I felt.
And that's no slight at Michael Graves' writing.
Yeah, no, that's how I felt about Web of Dharma. Like I kind of got into Web of Dharma. Like I guess 01 whenever that came out. Like I had that.
Yeah.
And like I'm like, this is fucking great. Like, and I think Web of Dharma, Punk Rock Is Dead, and Return to Earth are kind of like the great like Michael Graves like trilogy of records. And then
I love those albums.
For me, it kind of like I fell off. Like I like the
Vagabond. I appreciate when artists do that, like the whole Vagabond Wanderer thing. Like I appreciate when artists do that, but it's like it takes away from who you are and what people expect from you. Like if you're gonna do something like that, kind of do it as a side project. Like it's like what Jerry's doing with the Misfits now. It's like don't call that the Misfits.
That should have been its own band.
Yeah, like even if you look at Michael Graves coming into the Misfits, and when you compare and contrast, it's not even close. Really.
You know what they originally, like, if they couldn't have gotten the rights to the Misfits, they were gonna call it Them. THEM
with an exclamation point.
Yeah,
I like the movie, like the ants.
How fucking like honestly, like that to me, like if they came out like, we were the Misfits, now we have this new band, I would have liked it probably just as much. I probably would have liked it more because it's not trying to be as much as it's trying to be the Misfits. It's not called the Misfits. Like,
I think the sole reason they kept it the Misfits was just the fact that the Misfits grew over time.
With
the help of some bigger bands out there. Like I know Metallica had covered a couple songs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I think like people are like, well, who are the Misfits? And then they go look into them and they hear these songs that are very, I ain't no goddamn son of a bitch. And
it's the greatest chorus ever.
It's like you hear stuff like that and you're like, oh, it's very like relatable. Like, oh, I ain't no goddamn son of a bitch.
My mom, I remember listening to Misfits, and my mom's like,
and it blew up over time.
What is this?
Yeah.
Like, my mom asked, like, what is this? I'm like, oh, it's the Misfits. She's like, Like, she thought it was all right. Like, she liked the melody. Like, it's like fucking, even if the lyrics are fucking absurd, they're like insane or whatever. It's like, it's a fun song to listen to. Like, he's got a great sense of melody. Astro Zombies, fucking Skulls. Where Eagles Dare, like they're just like these great fucking. I love the songwriting and like the like 12 Hits from Hell is like Except Halloween 2.
I just picked that up on vinyl.
You could replace Halloween 2 with any other Misfits song, like Spook City USA.
Yeah.
I'd be all in.
You know what else I appreciated? I was a horror fan, so they were singing a lot about horror movies.
That's what's
and that was like, that was a big time for me.
But they were relating it to like fucked up real life shit a lot of the time.
That's
too.
That's
true.
something I love about like bands that do it right, in my opinion, are bands that don't just be like, oh, zombie, kill, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's like there's some sort of metaphor there.
What's the subtext? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I do in my writing. It's like I don't. There's some songs. Yes, admittedly, I just wrote about a movie, The Blob. It's just about the Blob. There's nothing underneath. Is
it the new Blob or is it the original Blob?
It was common. It's just the Blob. Yeah,
I got you.
I watched the '88 version.
Oh yeah.
And I watched that while I was in. When we first started the band, I was like,
cool.
I'm going to write a song about the Blob. I haven't heard a song about the Blob. I love the Blob. I love how cheesy it is. You know.
The 88 Blob rules, though.
But
that's
the special effects, fantastic. I thought that was a great remake.
I like the 50s Blob. It's okay. The fucking 88 Blob, I think, is better than the 50s Blob just because of how far technology came. Like, yeah, you don't have Steve McQueen in it.
Yeah, doing backward races and shit.
But, like, you do have Kevin Dillon, so that's good.
Yeah, I thought it was a good remake.
I remember my stepfather told me he was watching the one back in the day, and it came down the aisle in the movie theater, and everybody started looking back, which shows you how stupid people were back then, because it was fucking black and white, assholes. But everybody looked back to see if the fucking Blob was coming.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you ever hear Blob Fest?
You told me about that.
We've talked about this in the past.
Explain what Blob Fest is.
So Blob Fest, similar to Mothman Fest.
Wait, what?
What else can I compare it to?
You said Mothman Fest?
Yeah, I'm just
you
trying
mean
to think
like the Mothman down in like West Virginia? Oh.
Folklore,
not Arthur from the Tick, obviously.
So similar to the Mothman Festival, which is probably a little more well known than Blob Fest.
Blob Fest.
So Blob Fest is in Phoenixville, PA, which is about 2 hours from here. It's not that far from Jersey.
Worth it.
And it's where it was filmed. In the movie theater, the Colonial Theater, where the Blob was originally filmed. So what they do every year is I think it's 3 days now. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Cool. Friday night, they do this thing called the Run Out. So in the movie, obviously, the Blob comes into the theater, right? It comes through the projection, it's coming down. Everyone's like, they run out screaming.
Right.
And that shot outside of the movie theater where they're all running out, they recreate that every year. And those tickets are like, boom, gone in like a heartbeat. Like, so it's like on sale, sold out. So every year what they do, they film it every year. So they basically just recreate it. You have like they have a roped off area. They block the main road off there, and then they open the doors and everybody.
We got one take, you motherfuckers.
They just run out screaming.
That's awesome.
And so Saturday and Sunday is like a market, and what they do is they show the Blob on the original film roll. And they show some other cheesy sci-fi and stuff like that. I think when I went, I forget the movie. Laura and I went for the first time last year. It was the 18th Blob Fest. And I was like, 18 years? And I had not known about that.
Yeah, had you not? Awesome. Yeah, I had never heard about that either.
Can you go without tickets?
Yeah. It's just it's a street market. So
awesome.
You go, and then you can what you do.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
But if you want to see, I would recommend buying ahead of time.
Do they have like horror people there and stuff too? It's like kind of like a horror con. Street
in a way,
market.
Yeah, because I met the Monsters Are Good guys there. They do some really cool T-shirt art and stuff like that. Really, like they have this like Ramones style, but it says Monsters Are Good, and it's got the 4 like Universal monsters on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
But with the first Ramones cover, with them against the wall. Yeah, those guys are awesome. They made some cool stuff, or make some like really cool artwork. I got this like ceramic Blob statue. Nice. I got 2 versions of Blob on VHS there, and like Laura picked up this really cool like stuffed plush creature doll that we found out was actually worth like $60, but we got it for like $5. Like
nice.
So yeah, it's cool. Like it's really cool. It's an awesome street fair.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
And then you have the option to buy tickets to actually go see the Blob in the theater it was filmed in.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is awesome. Yeah, I think it's really cool. So yeah, it's a lot like Mothman Fest. It's like it's just a festival in the town.
They do something like that in Pittsburgh too with Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, at the mall. At that mall.
I think so. Yeah.
I've been to that mall about a month after they got rid of the last thing that was original. I saw them there, and I'm just like, and I saw the roped off areas, and I was like, I'm trying to picture it. I'm like picturing the movie, and I'm like, is this it? Like,
and they do the Friday the 13th tours now too at the one.
That's where I grew up actually.
One of my
Stillwater's very close to there.
Yeah,
like 15 minutes from that camp. I grew up at that's Friday the 13th.
What was that camp called? I think I stayed there for Boy Scout
Camp Novi Bosco.
Novi Bosco, yeah.
Which is adjacent to like Camp Mason, which there's 2 camps like right there, but it's Novi Bosco.
They should have called it Camp Jason,
right?
Camp Blood. Actually, there's a fun. Nothing crazy happened, but it was we went up there before they started doing these tours. It was like maybe 10 years ago at this point. So we drive up to the camp. And we're like, all right, let's go see if we can look around or whatever, And it's a used camp, like the Boy Scouts or someone, uses the camp and utilize it. And so we go up, and we drive this long dirt road, and we look down, and we can see the lake.
Crystal Lake.
Yeah. And so we go around. We start going around this little like a circle. You can loop back around and come back down the driveway. And as we're going around the circle, this truck comes flying out and blocks us in.
What?
We're like, oh crap, we just wanted to what's down there? What's on the lake? Let's see the lake, because it's private property. It's not like open to the public. Now they do the tours and stuff now, but that this is 10 years ago. This tour thing is like 2 or 3 years old. So we get stopped by this guy. He's like, "What you guys doing here?" So we're like, "Okay, shit, how do we do this?" We're in the back of this van. We're all piled in. We're like, "What do we do?" Like, we're looking for Camp Mason. So like the adjacent camp, we're looking for Camp Mason. I don't know. Is this the one? So we're just playing dumb. We're just He's like, oh, that's just right down the road. You just got to go up, a couple mile, and that's it. It's up that way. And we're like, oh, okay, yeah. We were just looking for that. We're looking for the Camp Mason, And the guy's just like, he can kind of, he can line right through our teeth, And he's like, yeah, just get out of here.
Fantastic.
So we're like, nobody's wearing a Jason shirt.
Yeah. We were just playing dumb. We got away. So all we got was a peek of the lakes. But I've been meaning to go up there, and I think they opened up a little pop-up shop too. So on Friday the 13th, they do a little pop-up shop thing right in Blairstown, where the movie was filmed.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Like right across from the diner. The diner that the camp. I don't know. He was like not a counselor, but the guy reopening the camp. Remember the guy with the killed in the rain of the sign? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That diner. Is like where they have this little it's almost like they're trying to start like a Friday the 13th fest, like you said.
Yeah.
Which would be so cool because it's like where I grew up, It's
awesome.
It's what got
it would actually bring people to that area.
That would be great. Economic boom.
Yeah.
Or boost at least.
It's a quiet little town, there's a little main
street. And they do it, I think, for like charity, not charity, but like for the upkeep of the place. Like that's what they do for the tour, I think, is like they do it for the benefit of whatever they're doing. Like, okay, we'll sell this many tickets, or they auction them off. Like, my friend ended up being able to go. Mm-hmm. She won them, and she went and, like, she just said it was, like, cool as shit. Like,
yeah.
But it's very limited.
Yeah. This is just a tiny little, like, hallway of a shop, and it's, like, got these cool, it's got memorabilia from the film and stuff like that.
No, the tour.
Oh, you're talking about the actual tour?
Yeah, the actual tour they do. Yeah, it's, like, super limited, Yeah. I love that shit.
I'd like to do that, yeah.
I miss, like, my first fucking memory at Chiller Theater is, like, you've been at Chiller, right?
Hundreds of times. Well, not hundreds of times. I'm going to hyperbole for effect. Hundreds of times, yeah.
Do you remember when it was in Secaucus?
Yeah, I saw David Carradine drunken smoking a joint in the elevator there.
Dude, that was the shit.
I've been to the Parsippany one and wherever it was before that.
Oh, yeah.
Where was it before Parsippany? It was down south,
Rockaway? Right there. No, it wasn't that far. No, it was up there somewhere. It was like at the Tara Hotel, and then at one of the other.
And then they moved it to the Hilton or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Monster Mania is down
Monster Mania is down there.
That's Cherry Hill, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been back
early
in the day,
Chiller Theater, man, was like there was a tent outside where they would put all these like certain guests, like
washed up stars.
It was like a big tent, like you would see like a wedding somewhere.
Yeah.
And like I went in there. There was like Richard Keel, who played Jaws and James Bond.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, right.
Brad Dourif, who does the voice of Chucky.
Nice.
George Lazenby, who was the non-British James Bond. I think he was an American guy, actually.
Okay.
He was in one movie. Like Barbara Steele. Okay. There was like all kinds of weird people outside, and then if you went in, there was like it said Misfits, and there's a room you could go to upstairs. The Misfits had their own just like room, and you would just walk in, and it was just all Misfits. It was like the Misfits store of like fucking shirts and like you'd walk in and Jerry's just literally manning his fucking merch booth. Like, and like, I remember meeting him. I was like a little kid, like just in awe, like seeing this fucking giant, sweaty, meatball fucking guy
with eyeshadow and a devil lock.
Hey, how you doing? He like put his arm around me. He's like, hey, you want to hold my bass? He just like put it over me, and I was like weighed down, like, ugh. And he's like asking me, he's like, how you doing? You in a band? Yeah, you in a band? Oh yeah. How's your parents? Like, you fucking know my mom? Like,
that's funny you bring that up. Actually,
that's what he says.
That's
how's your parents?
No, because dude, Bobby, our original drummer for Devil in the Belfry, his mom is pretty good friends with Jerry Only because
no shit.
We practice up in Wantage. And he lives in like the Vernon Wantage area.
Really?
Like up where Chud lives too, like that Vernon area.
Okay.
But he lives like right around the corner from where we started the band.
Huh.
And like one day we get there to practice, and Bobby's mom's like, here's some backstage tour passes or whatever. So we could have gone to any show for free if we wanted to. Just because they're just acquainted. And we never like took advantage of that. I don't know, like.
Wait, what?
Because we didn't know what the actual relationship between the two.
They're acquainted, all right.
How well they knew each other. Like, yo, tell them like we're in a horror punk band, Like, I don't know. We never did. We just kind of did our own thing, and that was that. Which I kind of like. I don't want to ride on coattails. I don't like that kind of thing. I want to like start from scratch and see how far we can take it on our own. It's so much more rewarding that way,
That's what I tried.
But yeah, that's funny though. Like, how's your mom? That's funny because like he actually knew the mom of the drummer. He actually knew.
Yeah. So how did your band get together, man? What's your musical trajectory?
All right. It's for me it's like when I first got into music, like 7th grade, like junior high was when that was when I was like, music is awesome. Why should I have been listening to music? I grew up listening to like whatever my parents listened to. My dad loves Yes. My mom loves Billy Joel and Elton John and stuff like that, So like I didn't have a terrible upbringing with music. It wasn't like the shit you hear on Top 40, through, like whatever it was in the 90s. And so I had like a decent like understanding what real music was and stuff like that. But then my buddy George, I've known since I was 5. I met him at some campground. His parents knew my parents, and we went camping together. He was what started it all. He got into like Slipknot, Disturbed, Mudvayne, and all these bands and stuff like that.
New metal.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So like, I don't like to admit that's because a lot of people, like all my friends now are all like
admitted it to 4 people.
4 whole people. Yeah, so I'll like
until we put it on iTunes.
Everyone's like, oh, dude,
millions.
I grew up with Pantera and Slayer and like all these older bands
Me
and
too.
stuff like that.
Yes, please.
And I'm like, yeah, I grew up with Slipknot, Mudvayne, Disturbed, a lot of like the mall metal stuff you would be considered today, but the band that got me into music itself was The Offspring.
Oh yeah.
The first time I heard Americana, blew me away. I was like, this is awesome. Like, it's just fast. It's funny. It's witty. It's clever.
Yeah.
And like at the time, I wasn't really like listening to the lyrics. I was more listening to like the music. And like the music got me pumped up. It's like it's all fast. There's the woes. It's very easy to sing along to, and it's And like you had the Pretty Fly for White. It's it's funny stuff. And for a kid, it's like I was like 10 or 11, and I'm hearing this like
wow.
Fucking like he's swearing and shit like that, and like Americana at the end of the album, and it's I'm hearing like these words and this music for the first time, and I'm like, whoa, it's so like taboo in my mind. I'm like, you can't swear in music, because I'm a kid and I have this weird understanding of what my parents listened to. So I got into Americana, and then Conspiracy of One came out, and that was like what started it all. Then my buddy George that's when he started getting into like the darker stuff. He suffered from depression like his whole life. His mom kind of like gave him up as a kid.
Oh my god.
And he had a stepmom, and his dad was just not nice to him, and they treated him like shit his whole life. And then they had a kid, and she was like the golden child,
No.
And it just and I watched it. Like I had a great upbringing. My parents did everything right. I'm incredibly grateful for that, but seeing how my parents did everything and watching him, so he got basically he got treated like shit his whole life, and he got into like darker music and stuff, and that's what kind of got me on the metal and punk and stuff like that.
Cool.
So all throughout high school, I listened to like Slipknot, Mudvayne, Disturbed. I started getting into like Rammstein.
Which is good, man.
The stuff you listen to as a kid that's like more not mainstream, but mainstream. Yeah. Like I started getting into Megadeth. Like I started getting more friends and and then I started getting into Metallica and like all the older stuff.
Right.
And then I started playing bass. So in 12th grade is when I picked up an instrument for the first time. Besides playing guitar, actually, here's a quick story, quick offside, story. In 8th grade, we had this class called, it's Fine and Performing Arts or some shit like that.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
And I met Brendan, the bassist, Brendan Taylor of Devil in the Belfry, in 8th grade. I met him.
Oh, you guys knew each other that long?
Yeah. So I met him back in 8th grade. We had like the first period was like art class or whatever, and that's when I met him. And we started hanging out because we realized we both into like kind of rock music and metal and different kind of music. And he was into skating, I was into skating, so we started hanging out.
Cool.
And then we took this class. It was like only like a week long, and it was just like an introduction into different types of music, stuff you haven't seen before, or like and so they gave us like little things to play. And then one day they gave us a little guitar, and Brendan was. I think his cousin was into guitar, so he started playing guitar. I can't remember exactly when Brendan started playing music or took an interest in playing it, but he knew some stuff on guitar. So we're learning Ode to Joy, because what the fuck else do you learn when you've never played a guitar before? Ode to Joy is what you learn when you're in class to play guitar in high school or junior high. So he's like, yo, fuck that. We're gonna fucking play Don't Fear the Reaper.
Nice.
So he's like, all right, he's like showing me the chords and the picking. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And I got this shitty little guitar at home. And I'm like, I'm gonna try and play it at home. And the guitar was a piece of shit, and I couldn't play it. And I just lost interest immediately. And I was like, fuck that. I was more of like a video game kid. All I did was play video games growing up. So I didn't get out much. I didn't do much of anything. I was like a homebody, But 12th grade rolls around, and my buddy plays bass. And I'm watching him. He brought his bass in one day just to fuck around in video class because our video teacher was pretty cool. And he's playing, he's doing the thing. And I'm like, that looks like fun. Like, I can do that. I think I can do that. So I borrowed one of his basses. It was like a shitty Rogue bass, like one of those $80 basses. And it was like the action was terrible and everything was terrible. And I just started learning, how to play. I just started watching videos or pulling up tabs and shit like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm still, listening to basically the same stuff throughout high school. I listened to, I kept it pretty tight niche. Like there's maybe like 40 or 50 bands I'm listening to. I got into like Il Nino was another band I got into.
Yeah, I remember that.
My buddy loved it. Like George loved.
Did you like
that
Orgy?
Band. What's that?
Did you like Orgy?
No, I did not. I was not aware of Orgy at the time.
What about Fear Factory?
Fear Factory I was listening to.
Fuck yeah.
Deconstruction.
You know what? I heard those guys off the Resident Evil soundtrack. The Resident Evil 1.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Those soundtracks are dope. I like those.
For sure.
But yeah, so I'm listening like only so much. But then I hated bands, and I was so firm about it too. I was like, there's just so many bands. I was like, fuck that band, hate them. They're awful. I've seen live videos, they're shit. Then I started playing an instrument, and I started recognizing what these people are doing, and I'm like, good God, these guys are dope. So I started learning bass lines and ska and like blues and all this other stuff. It started opening my ears to other music and stuff like that. So
awesome.
So I started learning all this stuff. I started learning like Real Big Fish bass lines and Sublime bass lines and all these
Yeah, once you start getting that interest, you'll start listening to music just to hear it kind of that.
Yeah.
Like,
even
great.
like Red Hot Chili Peppers for the longest time, I was like, fuck those guys,
Bum, 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 bum,
And then I watched Flea, and I forget the name of the Will Ferrell, the drummer. I watched them do like this jam once. I was like, fucking A.
Oh, the drum off, because they look like twins.
It was just like a Flea and
oh no,
guy.
Flea.
I'm just making the Will Ferrell.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I left.
But and I started getting more and more bands because of just playing bass. And then I kind of like, I guess side by side I started learning guitar. And my buddy Jesse, who I've known throughout high school, I just never really got close to him and get had one-on-one conversations with him. I had a class with him for the first time, and he was super into Metallica. And he just started learning how to play guitar, and his uncle's like, oh, check this shit out, you know. He's learning all the Kill 'Em All stuff. He's learning Master of Puppets and all this stuff. And I was like, all right, dude. Bad Habit. All right, this is the song that actually made me pick up a bass for the first time. The song Bad Habit by The Offspring. I know I'm fucking rambling.
I love that
about
song.
Whatever, but so we watched this video. It's like when YouTube was still kind of young. You know, you find these ridiculous like compilation videos of people getting hurt.
Yeah.
So one was to Bad Habit, and I'm like, this bass line's cool, and so I was like, dude, you play guitar, and we're starting to get closer and closer, and and I was like, fuck, man, I'm gonna learn how to play bass. Fuck it, let's do it. Nice. So I brought my buddy Tyler's bass that I saw playing. I was like, I can do that. That sounds fun. So I picked it up, I learned the song, and we're like, all right, dude, let's play this song together. It'd be so much fun. The best part of the story is he never learned how to play it, so we never actually played the song. This is going on 10 plus years now, and we still never learned a song. But we started learning Kill 'Em All shit. Like we learned how to play Hit the Lights. We learned how to play Master of Puppets. We learned how to play. I started learning to play Fade to Black. Like those first 3 Metallica albums, we started learning all this stuff, and that's when. Like I was like getting really good at the finger picking stuff. I was like I always wanted to. Cliff Burton was a huge influence.
I love
the fact that he finger picked in metal against most people like the sound of a pick. It's got a brighter tone and stuff like that. But I was like, I want to learn how to play finger picking because it's like Cliff Burton does this really cool thing.
It was like metal, but it was like classical.
Now that I play guitar a lot more, I do a little bit of both. It depends on what I'm in the mood for.
Yeah.
Or if I'm actually going for a tone.
That's
there's like a tonal thing.
Cool.
Yeah. So it was like learning Cliff Burton stuff and then learning ska and like bluesy stuff and stuff that's more bassy, more bass driven, I should say.
Right.
And that's what kind of started it musically. And then, but Brendan and I kind of like drifted apart for a while. I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know where we started kind of being like, you know what it was? He was like starting to hang out with this one group. I started hanging out with another group, and it was just like the groups didn't really like, talk as much. It was just it was 2 different groups of friends, and then even after high school, it was just he was doing his own thing, I'm doing my own thing, and I was dating the same girl for like 10 and a half years.
Holy shit.
Yeah, wow. So I was like, that was all.
Dude, that's like fucking being married.
Yeah, you're fucking telling me, man. Like,
holy fuck.
I'm getting divorced. It was almost 9 years.
I hear all these stories from people, and I'm just like, yeah, I was tied down already. Like we both had this like, we're gonna get married one day, and everyone saw that. Everyone, and it was a friend. My ex was someone I knew from when I was 5. I met her.
Right.
And our families knew each other. It was a weird thing, and it worked for so long. But we started so young, it started drifting apart. So
yeah,
that's what happens.
But yeah, so that's when so 12th grade is when I started actually learning. After high school, we all went to community college, and we were hanging out a ton, playing music, and everyone's like, "Oh, let's start our band," and no one ever did any shit. Like no one ever fucking started shit. But I was so like dead set on it, and I'm like, and it's funny now, all those friends that were playing music way before me back in, like my buddy
they don't
Nick,
do shit now, do they?
They don't do shit now. They don't play at all.
Yeah.
My buddy Jesse and I, we still jam all the time, but he doesn't do anything with it. He joined the Marines and stuff. He came back.
I hate that, man. There's so many. I remember so many guys with great potential as a kid.
He's a great guitarist.
One of my friends is one of the best guitar players I've ever played. One of my friends is one of the best drummers I've ever seen. Yeah. And it's like, they hardly fucking even have interest in picking that shit up anymore.
And they were the ones that inspired me. Like
exactly.
Playing with them. And I was like, oh my God, I wish I could play as good as you can. Or, oh, fuck, that's a cool riff, man. I wish I could write something like that.
Amen.
And now I'm the one playing in 4 bands now. It's crazy. And my buddy Nick always makes it. Every time we don't hang out very much. He used to be really close in high school, but he's got a kid coming out all of a sudden. I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
10 years later after high school, it's like, oh, he's got a kid, they're getting married, and yada yada. And every time we hang out, every once in a while, we'll bump into each other at a party or something like that. I'll just show up randomly and be like, hey, I'm here, it's a party, And then he's like, dude, it's just so funny, man. So like, I'll ask about the bands, and it's like, how do you work and do all the bands? I'm like, I don't fucking know, man. Life is a balance beam. I guess I'm really good. I guess I got good balance.
You know what? I mean,
he's always like, it's so funny, man. Well, you always joked about you know, how you never played an instrument. You'd be like the electric triangle player in the band because you don't know how to play anything. But now you're the one in 4 bands, you know, or whatever.
Right.
That's the way it fucking happens, man.
It's funny. Yeah, life is weird, dude.
Yeah.
I hate to fucking, like, see anybody, like, stop playing music, but I really, and I hate to say this. I hate to say this. Kids are a big killer. They don't stop you.
Yeah.
They just slow you the fuck down.
Yeah.
Like with that, like.
In what terms? Like watching someone
for writing
or
too.
playing with someone? What do you mean? Like,
no, I mean being in a band. Like
with
if
kids?
No. If I'm in a band right now, and hypothetically I have a girlfriend, and I knock her up, and she has.
Oh, you're talking about having.
Having kids, not being in a band.
They take a lot of work and a lot of time.
It's like. Now there's another life that I have to worry about 24 hours a day.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, you know,
that's a lot less time thinking about creative shit.
Yeah, it really is. It's like you have no time to think about.
I would never have a writing career if I had kids. It would never have happened.
That's one thing. I'm like, I'm so good with kids. Like I fucking.
Me too, man.
I'm like awesome. Like all kids fucking seem to love me for whatever reason.
The same way.
I'm like a weird, like sarcastic. Like I just talk to them like they're normal fucking little people.
Yeah, you don't be like, hey, sport. You know, you just talk to them like they're normal.
They walked in and I said, hey, gentlemen, today at work, one of the ladies brought her kid.
That's right. So you're working with Play-Doh or some shit today.
Yeah, there's this Play-Doh all over my fucking work table.
I'm just like, what the fuck?
But like. They were just having a fucking blast playing with Play-Doh. Like, I just talked to them like they're normal people. Like,
yeah.
He's like, I asked the one kid, he's like, I'm hungry. I'm like, oh, what do you want? He's like, I have goldfish. There was a bag of goldfish on the table. He's like, that's my brother's bag of goldfish. So I grabbed the other bag of goldfish off the desk, and I said, do you just get the whole bag? And he goes, yup. All right.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out. I'm great with kids. I just give them whatever the fuck they want because they're not mine, and I can give them back.
That kid's in a goldfish coma right now.
Yeah, dude. Playing an Aegon, right? So, Gathering a Nun, I'm the only member that doesn't have kids. Right? And we're so spread thin. But yet, we still make it fucking work somehow.
That's perseverance,
you guys have a
man.
thing, though, where you make it work. Like, you guys all know technology so well enough to make that happen. And get, coordinate, like, with minimal rehearsals. What do you guys rehearse for, like, a week or something?
Not even. A day.
That's what I mean.
A day or two.
But you guys know all your shit. You've been...
Dude, it's so surreal playing with a group of musicians like that. And this isn't, like, detracting anything from...
That's professional.
Yeah. Wow. Like playing Devil in the Belfry. Now we're on our 7th fucking drummer, so it's a different situation. But playing with this tight-knit group of people that are so good at what they do, and I'm like, well, how do I fit into this? Because like I'm a sloppy player. I'm not that great. I can barely sing. I'm not that. And you have Chris White on the drums, who is fucking just in the pocket. He can play guitar and sing like a goddamn angel.
Wow.
And then you have Tracy again.
But he plays drums. Chris White plays drums
in this band. Yeah,
he could play guitar and sing like an angel, and he's playing drums.
All week I'm getting messages of him writing riffs for us for the next, batch of songs we're gonna do. Tracy, super talented songwriter, lyrical genius. He can play drums.
Yeah, he plays anything.
Like, the first Aegon album was all him. You have Justin, who is an engineering, like he does all the music, and that's what he does for a living. He does live, sound and stuff like that. But he's got.
I wish he did it at Dingbats when we had that show.
That guy, dude, he was fucking flipping out in the back. But yeah, Justin mixed and mastered and recorded and engineered our whole last album.
Wow. Awesome.
And then you have Ken, who is the fucking tightest bassist, finger-picking bassist I've ever seen. The dude plays like it's a guitar. Like it's like he's just wailing like he's Eddie Van Halen, but like with his fingers,
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy being in this group of musicians that can be so far away. So like Tracy, Massachusetts. I'm in Jersey. You got 2 Virginia guys.
Texas, right?
And he's in Texas. Yeah. And we come together, rehearse for a day or two, and go out on tour. And people are like, dude, you're so fucking tight. And it's like, really? Like, but that's what it is, working with people who are just You know what it is? I think having the kids actually helps this. Having busy lives helps us. It's like, if we're going to take the time and do this,
you got to take 10 days and make it fucking count, or however much time. Like, and they're all in.
Let's not waste our time and disappoint people. Let's put on a show.
That's why I like it. More invested. It reminds me of kind of like a flash mob. Like, you guys, it's like, you guys do your thing.
That's a good analogy.
You guys do your thing for whatever it is, like 10 days or however many. Like, it'll be like these tours, these mini tours, or these. They're not. That's not many. Like however many days.
Yeah, we did 7 shows last time.
7. Okay.
Yeah, it was like 10 days with rehearsal.
10 days. Yeah. Okay.
And we had 2 days off.
So like, people know when that comes through that they're not gonna fucking be able to see that like in a month.
That's another 2. Yeah.
Or in maybe a year, or maybe 2. You know, who knows? Like. Shit happens.
There's so many areas we can go to.
But you guys,
with the kids and everything.
You guys just kind of keep grinding at it. Well, like when the next thing's done, or like what you guys are writing now.
We're writing, yeah.
Like when it comes to fruition, like you're gonna come through again. Are you gonna do it? You think before? Like again?
We are next. We're talking about finally doing Texas shows. A couple Texas shows. Cool. Like a 3-day weekend kind of thing.
You know what's fucking genius about that too is that since you guys have members all over the place,
we have home bases,
almost like a base. Yeah,
wow.
So that's fucking genius.
Yeah,
that's great.
The first show we played was at Clifton. On Tracy and I share the same birthday. September 10th is both our birthdays, so he had the idea of doing a show, and it happened to be a Saturday. So we all kind of met up at my apartment. We found a place to rehearse, and we all kind of just came from there, And then and Ken has this beautiful house down in Virginia, in Reiner, Virginia. And he's got this home studio built, and that's where we recorded the album.
Awesome.
He's got a home studio. He's like building the house. He's like, you know what? I'm fucking building a house. Let's do it. Let's just put a studio in the basement.
Awesome.
So he's got this, soundproof room and a little control room and a little and it's awesome, dude. I love it, which is inspiring. I just fucking bought a house, and I have this clean slate of a basement. It's just concrete open. Couple columns. I'm like, oh man, I could build a studio in here with the money,
Nice.
Fucking like real professional when I do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got this awesome studio, and that's where that is like our official home base, I think, because we went there to record. We met there the last 2 tours.
Yeah.
But now we have Texas. If we do Texas, we got Justin's house, which is really cool. We have that option. And it's just so cool, man. It's just like being in this big band like that. It's so like unique, nothing like it. Playing Devil in the Belfry, we're a local band. You do what a local band does. We've been out on the road too, though.
Yeah. You guys just did Tennessee.
It works the way a band works.
How was Tennessee?
Tennessee was good. It was a long, stressful trip because I had to put the deposit down on the van and make sure keep everyone in check.
Somebody's got to be responsible.
I had to be the responsible one. I get. Everyone was responsible for me though, which I totally appreciate, But no, that ended up being an awesome time. The first night sucked though. We got down at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and we were expecting. We had the guy that was hosting us had this it was like a banquet hall. It was weird, and no bedding or anything. It's just a floor. And I didn't.
Come on, you just put your backpack down and
I didn't know what to
sleep.
expect. And my fucking internal clock's like, 5 o'clock, time to wake up for work. We get in, we finally settle in at 5, and the sun's fucking coming up or whatever, 6, and I'm just like, oh shit, I'm not gonna get any sleep, am I? I was like maybe an hour of sleep, solid hour on the floor, and I tried to sleep in the van, but the sun was coming out and it was getting so fucking hot, and so that was the worst part. Shows were fun. Awesome time.
Nice.
Met some cool locals that you never would have run into if you stayed local.
Yeah,
right.
And it's so cool. I get to do that with this. Like, I can't do that much because of what I do for work. I can't give up what I do for work because it pays the bills very well.
I feel you.
And I love what I do too. It's not just like it's a job that pays the bills. I get health insurance and stuff. I love what I do, and it pays the bills and stuff. So it's like it's hard to give up. But music it's so cool. I get to do these one-offs and short spurts, and I got my vacation days and stuff. And it's cool to use those days. I basically and I get paid. It's paid vacation, so it's I'm still getting paid, not as much as I would.
But you know what? It takes the sting out of when you have to play a show and you're gonna I know I'm gonna maybe take a bath on this, or I'm gonna break even. But at least if you have the paid day,
something.
exactly.
I take a hit.
You're
but I
paid
got
for your
something.
time, even though
Like Brendan, on the other hand, he busts his ass. He moved out to the city like a little over a year ago, maybe. I forget how long
I think
it's
it's
been
more
now.
than
like
it's
a
a
year
while.
and a half maybe. And he lives out there with just a lantern. So he busts his ass. He's working at FedEx now, and he's just trying to like. Where he was, he's like, fuck, I gotta move, man. He's like, there's no jobs up here that, and commuting and stuff like that to something down here. So he said, fuck it, I'll move to the city. But what he does, he doesn't get like vacation days and shit. So when he goes out, he's already been trying to make ends meet, living in the city because it's expensive to live there, working, a part-time job. And so he goes out and he comes back with nothing but what we've made to split up. But we tend to take that money and put it in the band fund for recording and merch and stuff like that. And so I can't even imagine how hard that is, You got to really, like, kind of sympathize with that. Like, it's like, I got it pretty good. It sucks that, you can't just be like, well, I'll just suck it up. It's like, you kind of can't when you're in that situation.
You know what I've always done? And maybe this is stupid with my band, but, like, anytime we ever played, if we made, like, a decent amount of money, it's going to be time to go soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's getting up there. But, like, I always try to take care of the guy that fucking, if there's a dude in my band that's, like, fucking not, gonna take a bath on doing a gig, we gotta go here, I know he's gonna spend $60, like, to get there or whatever, like, I try to fucking take care of that dude, like, I don't know, it's probably, like, I don't know, I think it's just, like, the best thing to do is always, like, I always try to take care of the people that, like, on a show, like, if I book a show, my birthday shows, I usually fucking walk away with, like, no money. Like, I always pay out all the other bands because it's, like, fucking, it sucks, like, being in a band all the time. You play all these fucking shows, supporting people, which is great. But, like, making no money, walking away with nothing, like, it's, like, a bummer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For local acts, you kind of expect it, it's...
Yeah, you do, but on the same token, too, like...
But
when there's a bunch of people watching you, like, at this point in my life, like, if there's $500 that I could split between the whole fucking show, I'd rather give everybody 100 than fucking here's 20, here's 20, here's 20, here's 20, and I walk away with 4. That's fucking dick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
this guy Nick, I don't know if you know Nick. I never pronounce his last name right. It's like
Keterelos.
Yeah, something like
Queens.
But
Nick from Queens.
He, like, always pays us no matter what.
That's awesome.
Even if like he didn't meet the guarantee, he was like, "Here's some gas money to get back, man." Because it's like $30 in tolls to get out there. You know?
Fuck yeah.
That dude is beyond commendable. I love people like.
By the way,
when they get it, and cover bands make like $500, $600 a night.
Yeah.
Sure they play longer, but they're just playing cover songs, Sure, it's still they got to get together.
Well, I will say, not to knock cover bands, the one that's playing my birthday, they only play around Halloween. It's kind of like their thing. Like,
I'm talking like the typical dad bar bands.
They're not like playing at a restaurant every week or any shit like that. I wouldn't get some lame cover band, and I could say lame because I'm half a cripple. Even though it's offensive now.
By the way, if
lame is offensive now?
Yeah, Bobby Steele told me.
Yeah.
You can't say lame.
No. What is the etymology?
Well, lame is like what they used to call cripples. Like.
Yeah.
Are we over that now?
No, cripples was what they used to call lame people, actually.
Tell them to calm down, Tiny Tim. We're not in that world anymore. Nobody uses the word lame like that anymore.
That's fighting words.
Another thing, when we say the city, we should say that we mean New York City and Manhattan, because there might be people listening sometime.
They know we're from another place. New York, Phil, okay?
That's true. But sometimes San Francisco is the city if you live out there.
I think it's time for us to get out of here.
Really? Is it that time?
Yeah, it's late.
It's getting late.
It's bedtime.
I'm sure I'll be back eventually.
Jeff, you will definitely be back eventually.
I'm having it's my first podcast. I'm having a fantastic time.
Nice.
You were an awesome guest.
He was.
I can talk. I'm not. I was never been a good.
Where can we find you, Jeff?
All right. Okay. Online bands. I don't know the actual / whatever, but
Jesus Christ.
So
you
Devil
get /
in the Belfry, not Belfry, Belfry, Devil in the Belfry. Facebook.com/Devil in the Belfry. I don't think it's like official or anything, but
if you Google Devil in the Belfry band, you will find you guys.
Look for the purple. There's always purple in the logos. Look for a little dude playing violin, you know. And Puke Bat. Look for Puke Bat. Puke Bat's our new mascot. You can also look up A Gathering of None. Play guitar for A Gathering of None. And Darrow Chemical Company, I play guitar for now as well. So you take a look online. You find us there on Facebook. I think there's Instagrams and stuff. I don't have one of those things, but it's all over the place. You know, and we're on Spotify, on Apple Music, and all that shit. What?
Google Music, Deezer.
Sure, I'm sure. Whatever the fucking distribution music thing had all those fucking things. So yeah, we're everywhere. All 3 bands, and then obviously I'm playing bass for you now. So I'll give you a plug. Bad Whoremoans. Check out some Paul Mauled stuff, man.
Nice.
Thanks.
There's some good tasty jams in there.
Wow, tasty jams.
You know what Laura's favorite song is?
What?
Bigfoot. She loves Bigfoot.
Dude, you know I fucking hated playing that?
She hates that song. She's like, I love Paul, but that song, man, I'm like, I love it because it's.
I wrote it as
so
a
ridiculous.
joke.
That's what I saw. I told
That's
her,
like,
come on, he did it on purpose. It's clearly a joke.
Because me and Mr. Jim were joking around, like, we should write like a fucking, like a song that's kind of just. Like not horror punk, but not horror punk. Like it's so absurd that like the Cramps. Like it was kind of like one of those, you know.
I love the Cramps.
Yeah, we went for the Cramps. Kind of.
Human Eye.
Yeah.
Where can we find you on the internet?
I am on Instagram at Phil Perry the Writer with an underscore between each word.
He changed it.
I changed it. I'm a changer.
The bane of my email's existence.
You said to change it and make it so people could find it, so I did that.
And you listened.
I know. I'm that person sometimes.
He listens to my advice. That's why he's going to be a millionaire in 5 years.
I give your hair a little tussle sometimes, you cute little maniac.
Do you like the wax that's in my hair? Does
that cum? What is that? What did you sleep in the gutter? What's going on with that?
I shot it into my own head.
It looks like what happens after I shoot my load onto my jism here between my belly button
jism the whole podcast.
And the other place.
You had to say it now.
That's what the hair looks like.
This is what happens when I stick my dick in the electric outlet. You can find me at Paul Mauled on the Twitter and the Instagram.
Wait, I didn't do my Facebook, asshole. I'm Philip Perry at Phil Perry the Writer. You can find me. You can find me and haunt me. Haunt my soul!
Ever see a train crash into a dumpster fire? You just witnessed it. This has been Two Assholes Shitty Podcast.